So what we have here is a Bosch Classixx 1200 Express washing machine for washing clothes. When this turns, there's a scraping sound. It's like a spring or something is catching the drum. So obviously we need to take it apart to inspect inside. So to dismantle the washing machine, what you got to do is there's two screws in the back. I've just taken off one of them. As you can see, it's a kind of a torque head. You just need to get a bit that matches it. You get them in hardware shops and little kits, and they're usually pretty cheap. So I just took off this other one here. I've already taken off the one on the other side. And what happens is the top will slide off. Slaps. And see inside, we're going to need to take off this metal bar and this weight here, right, to get out the drum. So what you're going to need to do, there was 4 of these, either the same type screw or it'll be similar. Keep all your screws together. Should be 4 of them somewhere. Keep all your screws together and I can't find the other. Okay. So that's done. So what you need to do now is you need to get yourself a spanner, loosen these up, take them off. Okay, and again, keep everything together. So this weight will just lift off. Your drum is lift up a bit, and there you are. That's that out. So inside here, because we need to get this off here, you should be able to take this, there's a little clip in here somewhere, in here. Oh yeah, if you push it down at the back, that's it. Thank you very much. So clip that away, and some torque heads here. So we lifted this over a small bit because it's just very heavy. You want a bit of a man to help you. Push that over there. This is now, because we unscrewed the screws at the front loose. What we're going to have to do is unclip these water pipes and get this removed. So I'll update you now in a minute. So just to release the hoses, you need to pliers just to squeeze in these and bring that down there, and then these pipes will just pull off. Of course there's water in them, so we'll pull this bar back a small bit and this is out. You can see we need to remove this, so it's the same but just a little bigger. We just need to loosen this first. Big daddy, isn't he? You're a big boy. Come on. So there we are. So now we should be able to remove this here and we'll have room to maybe pull out this drum. Now there's a possibility if you were good you could have probably lifted out the drum with this intact, but we're not that good. So we can disconnect this here and disconnect this here. So one of the first things you'd want to do is take off this front panel and open up this drain pipe and just drain out any water. And be ready if you're in the middle of a cycle and there's a lot of water in here. This is how you get the water out. You probably have gunk in here. If you open this up, then like where if you don't clean out the pockets, you're probably going to need like a towel for here, because you can see there's lots of water coming out. A little bit more prepared here. You know, open it slowly because you just don't know how much water is going to come out of here. You know.
And as you can see, it's going to be full of limescale and gunk and all sorts of stuff. So you can see the pump in here, the well, not the pump really, I don't know what it is. You want to clear out all the stuff that's in there. That's not our problem, but it could cause problems. So that's one bit of maintenance we'll be doing today. Next thing we need to get done is this has to come off. As you see, there's springs and that in here, and just be careful when you're dealing with springs or anything like this. It's quite dangerous, you know. So there we are. Another spring somewhere else in it. Another spring inside, I don't think so.
It will come off with the drum, won't it?
Okay, must be connected to the drum. Okay. Just looking, there's loads of, you know, inside your stuff in here, there's more gunk and stuff that needs to be cleaned out, you know, it's part of a maintenance cycle. That's what you should be doing at home. Okay. So if you need to take off the front panel, what you're going to need to do is take out the screws in the door here. We have a spring already taken out from around the edge, and there is a screw holding in the side here. It's a different size than the other one, so that'll have to be taken out. We need to take out the screws, these little locks. Make sure that it just makes sure that the doors actually could be on without screws at all. Make sure it doesn't fall, it won't fall off. So just push it up and pull it out, and your door is off. Okay. What I will be looking at is, this is the panel here we're looking at getting off here. So we need to have a look at the top and get the screw off at the top. So the screw at the side is taken out, and you make sure all these screws are taken out here. That's your front panel is off. So it allows you to have a look inside here. See what we can do. We're going to remove this panel if we can. There's another one screw up there, but that's not in through this one, but we'll take it out anyway. You can obviously see that there's nothing in the middle. There's something, a clip. There's clips here actually. There's little plastic clips here and here, and at this side here and here. Don't be afraid to be rough with it. I mean, if you're taking any appliance apart, the appliance should be pretty much broken before you went at it. Repairs are too expensive, so it's either have a stab at trying to fix it or throw it in the bin and buy a new one. So we'll have a bit of fun. So we can see there's a screw here, this side. Now watch yourself, because if I'm right, this front should slide down because of the clips that are on the inside. It should slide down. That's if there's no screws anchoring it to anything, you know. Now, to get the front panel off the washing machine, the last thing that's holding it on is these plastic things. So you gotta push them down, and because there's a gap below it. See this gap below it? There's a gap down here. So we need to get it down into that. I'll just see if I can
So what you gotta do is just disconnect this lead here. There, that's your front. If you take it step by step, it's pretty easy really. Just gotta take it step by step, take your time, have a cup of tea. Any point you get kind of frustrated or you're not sure about, take a walk away, you know. So from what I can see here, what we need to do to get at the drum is to split open this. There's screws keeping that drum together going all the way around. So we're going to need to take out the drum either up or out. I'd say out the way would be much easier. So we need to take this bar off. 4 screws in there, that's simple enough. There's a few connections, there's a wiring and a plumb pipe. But what I'm looking at is if we disconnect this here, we should be able to swing out that drum. I know it's connected here as well. That'll have to come off, and that'll have to come off over there, where the legs are. I think we can do that. I think we'll just start up here and to take out the bar. There's 4 screws in this bar. It's held in weirdly like that. I always try to leave things the way I took them out, so I'm not scratching my head for an hour afterwards, and I leave the screws with it. Normally makes it an awful lot easier. For reassembly, I think the next thing we need to do is disconnect this pipe here, because it will be easy to connect that again. But just as it's twisting out, there are cables connected in here going to the motor and to the element, the heating element here. So if you ever had to replace the element, here is where you do it. We've done it before in this washing machine and it worked perfect. We have it going now for about a year on a replacement element. So I'm going to disconnect this with the pliers. Same thing as we've done before. It's another tough cookie. There we are. There we are. Here's another area that could be maintained. That's a nice find actually. You would have never have known that all that gunk was in there, so we'll do our best to clean that out later. For now I'm just going to open these two, so I'll talk to you in a minute. I'll use a spanner in the back here. Now disconnecting these legs down here, you got to be awful careful. Remember, there's a lot of weight in this drum. I haven't taken this off yet, haven't decided whether I'll leave it or not, hopefully I won't. It's still connected up top with the springs, with the bar going across the top. But you need to be very careful and aware, like, you know, this type of thing. You know what you're doing and you're confident enough doing it, that's okay. Now we can... So we managed to get the 2 bolts out of the 2 legs in here. This one was a little bit more awkward because you have all the cablings and piping, but it came out. Just keep an eye on the washers and that. Keep everything together. What we've done is we've put the washing machine lying down on the ground, just so as this is resting on the ground for the moment. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take off the nuts around this other weight, because I want to lighten it before I try to lift it around the place, so we're not breaking our backs trying to take it out. So once these 3 big bolts are out, this should lift off, just like that. So now we have everything disconnected, or so we think. We should be able to manipulate the...
Remember the top bar.
Add this bar here, and there's a little this is kitchen here, so you should be careful. I wonder, so we'll be able to get the drum out. We're just going to put the bar on the inside, the one with the springs attached, to see, or we might even disconnect it altogether. Just to manipulate the drum out as far as we can.
Now, just move your
that leg out.
The other one?
And it's stuck in the a little bit.
Let me try this side soon.
The cables at the top here, you see. Keep in mind them.
This is where it doesn't fit. See, it doesn't fit here.
So as we've coaxed the drum out a small bit, what we'll be able to do now is we'll be able to get at the screws, which are the ones holding it together. All these along here. So we'll disconnect all of them and we'll. So we're going to disconnect the cables that are connected to the heating element. We're just going to disconnect all the cables here. So we managed to get the whole drum out. There's still cables connected inside, but once we have it out, we'll be able to unscrew these, all the screws there around the edge, and split it open. To separate these two sides, all the screws have been taken out at the various points, and these clips, some of them had to be broken. This is quite a forceful butchering job that was done along here. I've had to bust some of these clips in order to get a start in it, and then wedge it open bit by bit all the way along. Very, very, very difficult, that part. Well guys, we eventually butchered the machine open. Now whether or not it'll go back together correctly or not, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Busted a lot of the clips, but again there's screws in it, so I think it should be okay. And there are some clips left in it, but as you can see, the amount of crap that is built up in here. And here's a view of the element on the inside. Take into consideration that this element is only in a year, and look at the state of it. So we'll have to flake off all of this. Just look at that. It's only in there a year. I only repaired this machine a year ago, and look at this. God, this is crazy. Crazy. So we'll have to give it a good clean out now. The element is not broken in it. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. The culprit of all the problem. So as of this moment, as of right now, that issue is finished and fixed. It's finished and fixed. See if it turns fine. Now turns okay. So now all we need to do is give it a really good thorough washing, and I need to look at all these videos in reverse to see how I put this thing back together. So after the cleanup, as you can see, a lot of the lime scale is gone, and the element, even though it doesn't look that clean, it's an awful lot cleaner than what it was. Didn't want to go damaging it by trying to get too much more off it. So start reassembling it now. We get the case back on. Now that we've successfully found the cause to the issue and cleaned it out, and hopefully it'll still work once it's reassembled, we need to start reassembling now. So we need to start screwing these screws around the edge here. What we did do to make it easier was we noticed there was more holes than screws, so we marked the holes that on the other side here. We marked which ones actually had these screws in them. So we're going to screw all these back in, and if there's spare holes in it, because we have butchered it to get it open, and there is a seal in here, and we want this sealed really tight so it doesn't leak water, otherwise this repair would have been for nothing if it starts to leak water. So additionally with these, there's extra holes in it, so we're going to get some nuts and bolts and tighten it up good and tight. So as you can see, we've taken a screw out of here, so we just stick that in and of course make sure these are good and tight. Now anywhere like here, right beside it, there's another screw hole here. What we're going to do is we're going to have a look for some nuts and bolts, and we'll be able to clamp in these other connections that are in between, like this one here. That'll all tighten in as we put in the other screws first, all the way around. So we've screwed in most of the screws all the way around, all the screws all the way around. So what we've done is the extra holes, as we're saying, we've got nuts and bolts that match up. So we're just to tighten it in. I know that that's probably still touching the seal in here, but to get a little bit more peace of mind, you couldn't get any better than that. So we're going to fill in the rest of the holes with them and see how we get on. Now that this has been sealed all the way around the edge, the next thing we do is just to lift the drum back inside the washing machine. You find like getting it out is a bit difficult, awkward, because of the legs and stuff are sticking out, but you can get it in there. It's just a matter of doing it slowly, not to rip any of the cables out. So we've managed to coax the drum back inside, and this bar is now going to be fitted back on the top. Just going to be screwed in here and down the bottom. So the next thing, once that front top bar is done, what we're going to do is reattach these legs. These are the flexible legs. One of them connects in there, if you can see it. So we just need to get those connected in, and there's another one at the bottom there. So they just use the original nuts and bolts that we took out earlier on them. So we've just screwed back in the two legs, and now we're just going to connect all the pipes that we disconnected. Just got to connect them back on. Pliers, squeeze that and move it up over it, making a good seal, and you'll be getting all your connections and power leads and everything that's lying around, and reconnecting them back into where they should be going. So we're just connecting the water. You see there's a notch here. Always look at, there's a little line here, it's there for a reason. There's a little notch there. So we push this up good and high and tight, get it into that notch as best we can. Want a really good seal on it, and just push it up as high as we can. There we are, like that. I'm going to need to use the pliers for this. I'm pretty happy with that. That ain't going nowhere. So we've just connected back in whatever way your cables are in. You'd have a photo of them beforehand, obviously. Just reconnected them back in. You now need to go along and just tidy up your cables. Make sure they're all in the way, tidied away where they should be. You're going to find all these connections. Make sure you have all your cables connected in to where they should be connected in. You'll be coming across all sorts of different connections that we disconnected earlier. It'd be important to look back on videos and make sure that
every single connection that you have disconnected. I don't think we connect that in till later, does it? We'll leave it there, we'll know it's disconnected. Okay.
Next job we've decided to do is to get your spring bar and your springs and
Connect them to your drum inside. It's obvious enough where they go, the big huge hole in the middle. Once you've that done, you'll have to pull the bar out of here, where the rest where it was originally. Spring bar and the springs are attached back in place. Just make sure that there's actually a hole in the bracket when you put the spring through it, that it goes in through the hole, because you don't want that springing out at any time.
so now we're in a position where we'll be able to lift it up with the legs on the drum so it won't fall, and the springs are on top so there's no weights on it yet. So there we are. Next job now is to put the weight on the front. Weight back on the front. So we need to get this big piece of concrete basically back onto the front.
The orientation has to be right because there's clips that clip into this part here and around the, see like that there now, has to clip in like that. So what Emily is doing now is she's just trying to figure out which way it goes. She's having difficulty with it. It's no problem, take your time, there's no rush. I'm sure the people of YouTube are very patient. Right, I'll just help you here, maybe pushing this right here out of the way so you don't damage it. Okay. There we are. So, as you can see, that's in there. They are now going to be screwed in. There's 3 of them brackets.
So weight is on the front of the drum, so the next thing is this bar for clipping on the front. So we just put that into place, and there's 4 screws then to go into it.
Let's just screw in ear and ear, in ear and ear.
So now we have that bar in place. The next thing we're going to do is put the backing where the detergents and stuff goes. It takes a bit of forceful negotiation to get it into place.
Which one goes where?
Which pipe goes to which one? I think that calls for a little cup of tea and look at the videos that we made. Yes, little things like that makes it so much easier if you can label them as you're doing them. You know, a little bit of black marker and write T for top on one of the pipes. We'll just review that and come back to this video in a minute. So I've connected the pipes that connect to where the detergent goes. We've them connected back up, as you can see. Next protocol, now that everything is in place here, that we can now secure the spring bar here with its screws on both sides. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put the main front panel on and the top control panel on as well. Before you do that, you're going to have to make sure that everything is in its correct order down below, that small things like this drainage pipe has its cork in and that it's out in the right spot, that all these clamps are on securely and you're happy with them.
that all your cables, see there's a cable here not connected in, so we're going to need to locate where should that be connected in.
Found out what that cable was. Connects into the door. Just looking everywhere for it. So just connect. I'm going to just do in reverse what we did before. We're going to connect in that cable, line it up with those little connectors on it, those annoying little connectors. These yokes here, and they'll go into there, and then it's just a matter of screwing in the screws. That's just left in place. We just put that into place there, so we'll just screw in the screws here as well. So we'll go do that. Now that we have the top in place and it's screwed in, and the bottom in place and it's screwed in, and the cable connected into the door, the back of this panel for the door, the weight on top can be put in place and it bolted down. And just make sure it's pushed in fully. That's it.
So we have this all screwed up. We just take this drain pipe through this bit of plastic flashing, basically is all it is. And it's not really necessary, it's just there we are. Just try to clip it in place really. All we're trying to do without breaking it further. Doesn't seem right, but there's a big rubber yoke to be twisted into that. Big rubber tube. That's this. And it's been all cleaned out.
Look, this is a direction. There's a part of the bottom that has a groove, so there has to be a groove there someplace.
It's a lot of line. Did you clean all that out?
Try it.
Groove on top and on bottom. It's a groove.
Is one wider than the other or not? It doesn't make no difference.
Just seems very flimsy, you know. You know what I might do there is put a bit of washing up liquid in it just to grease it up a bit. So just put a bit of washing up liquid to make it a little, hopefully a little bit more. And the little lime scale in there too. There we are. Good old washing up liquid. And brute force. Still not in fully. Oh, we are. We just want to leave that all open like that. I'm not going to put the cover on it until we give it a run through, kind of a test cycle. We'll be putting on the door, I believe, in the top open as well, just for the test cycle. I mean, it's very dangerous. You don't want to be doing anything like that if you're not comfortable doing it and you don't know what you're doing, like, you know. So we'll just put this in here and get the door on it now. So for fitting the door, again, it's made very easy for you because you have these clips here, just like we uninstall them. So you put the clips in the hole, and then it'll fall down, and you'll see your screw holes. So we were 2 screws gone in here now. No noise, which is good. Door closes. We have the spring to put back in here, of course. Is it like that or like that? Does it stay like that? So you got to get the spring back in here. So you got to tackle this first. You got to pull out
like this and flick it in the back. Try to get that all the way around the same before you put in the spring. So we got the spring in. Not the easiest thing to do in the world, but a flathead screwdriver will finish it out. If you just start at the furthest point from the spring and go in little bit by little bit all the way around, get one side of the spring in, you'll have a little bit left out, and wedge it in with a screwdriver and bring it around like this. It should all pop in. Just make sure that none of it's resting on the lip when you're finished. And all that's to be done now is to insert the drawer for your washing up liquid and stuff, and we should be ready to rock then. We'll give it a test. So this is the test to see how we got on with our repair. And when we started the cycle, we had a bit of water leak on this. It wasn't, I had to open it up, take it out, put it in and tighten it up. There must have been some lime scale in one of the threads or that, but there's nothing leaking out of it now at the moment. And it's turning without noise. So my only other area of concern would be where the drum meets. It seems to be holding water. There's nothing leaking that we can see around the sides. Everything else seems to be pretty good. Like these clips here are fine. Everything else seems fine. So my last test will be, I'll probably just see is there anything coming down underneath it once it's done on a rinse. But there you go guys, just get the top on it and get it doing some real work, and voila, machine fixed. What do you think, bud? Good job? Job done? Whee!